everybody, and welcome to episode 10 of the Big Apple Battle, a New York baseball podcast. Ed, once again, I feel like we've been slacking here, and we need to apologize to the fans for our lack of content and consistency in episode posting. Life is certainly lifing. I'm sure we could all relate here on the pod. We do promise to be better and do better, just like we hope our New York baseball teams are going to do and continue to do, hopefully heading into the remainder of this week. Ed, it's great to hear from you. Again, it's been a while. Obviously, that's our fault to no one else's. But how's it going over there?
Well, no one's holding our feet to the fire. And yeah, you might promise to be better because that's what the Mets do. Promise, overpromise, underdeliver. So I'm not shocked by that.
You're projecting.
But, hey, listen,
because look at the Yankees, the way they've been playing. They're on the
hey,
L3
baby,
right
hey,
now.
baby.
No?
It's just a little bit here, a little bit there. Doesn't go your way. You know, we're in for better days sometime soon. But, you know, to switch gears and give some highlights to a different sport right now. It's Knicks town, baby. Knicks tape. Let's go, taking one from Boston in game one out there in Beantown. So you got to be hyped about that if you're a New York sports fan. I know this is a baseball pod, but New York really
I like it. I like
nothing like it when the Knicks are good, right? We haven't seen this in much of our lifetime.
And they wear the orange and blue. So shout out to the Knicks, the brother or sister to the Mets. Well, brother, I guess, to the Mets.
Yes,
the Yankees don't wear those colors.
Yeah, the Mets stole their color scheme, and then the Isles after that. So, yeah, go figure. But the Knicks are the true blue and orange. And, yeah, good day for blue and orange all around. That with the Islanders getting the number one overall pick in the NHL entry draft as well. So, yeah, just kind of your banner day out there. Blue and orange skies, as Spike Lee likes to say. And the realities are that gray days are here again, and gray and blue are our colors, and we're about to get back on track.
Well, yeah, I mean, I like that sentiment, and yeah, I think we need that bounce back for the blue and orange today, the way the Mets have been playing this past week, and we'll dive right into all that. Also, it's definitely gloomy here in Jersey, New York. I think it's going to be raining all week, and I don't think we're going to see the sun until Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. So,
hey,
shout out to all the mothers out there. It's coming out for Mother's Day, I guess.
Absolutely, and apropos, Sunday, Sunday, Mother's Son. I don't know. Anyway, there's Daughter's Day too. Whatever, all that jazz. And just one more. I just want to say, Action Brunson is at it again. If we're going to be talking about the rhymes we're doing out here and puns, so just one more thing. Action Brunson going to carry the Knicks to a chip before the Yankees and Mets season done. So just one more time. Knicks tape, baby. Knicks tape. All right, back to baseball.
Shout out Knicks. But yeah, back to baseball. I did want to mention both the Mets and the Yankees, again, have regressed a bit this past week. The Mets are 5-5 in their last 10 games, losing their last two series, with the Yankees 4-6 in their last 10, and currently on a L3. Wait, Ed, you gotta let me finish.
I can't because I just want to say one thing. This is one more thing I need to clear up, okay? Because this is where I'm feeling slighted as a Yankee, the Yankee side of this pod. I got to defend our team, okay?
Sure.
Because it is the schedule makers, the Mets side of the pod, that have prevented us from talking about the 5-5 Yankees. My script is for the 5-5 in the last 10, okay? The definition of mediocre. So when we're talking about 4-6, you're skewing my numbers. You're skewing my timings.
It's just the truth.
We're into a new series. You're messing with my flow. Okay. So as a Yankee supporter and that part of the pod, Alec, I just need to call it out. You only love to jump on as soon as the Mets get back to their winning ways. We had a perfect, both in the doldrums. Maybe you got to figure some things out. Narrative, and now one sweet win in the desert against the Snakes. And now
I'm not even saying that. You're just getting all defensive over here.
I just know it. I felt it. This is just how I've been feeling. I had to let it out today. You know what I mean?
I don't like what I'm saying.
It's not your intentions. I can tell.
I
know it's not your intentions. It's not your intentions. I'm trying to give you a little credit.
But the Yankees won't even let a Mets fan finish a sentence, and that's fine. If you want to get super defensive and deflective, that's okay.
Listen, this is an early.
You're on a losing streak. You lost
It's an early recording today. I'm a little caffeinated. I'm hyped up.
I see that.
I'm ready to fight. If you back me into a corner, we're going to fight our way out. All right. Pizza Rat's here to
Scrappy.
Stay. Let's go.
No, the Bronx Giraffe.
What's his name? I want to know. Is that his name? Scrappy? That would be a fun name.
Scrappy the Giraffe.
No. Instead of Jeffrey the Giraffe.
I get it. Unfortunately, it just happens to be our free time to record. The Yankees lost an additional game. Sorry, it's not 5-5 in my book.
I'm talking about the 5-5 in the last 10. We're not talking about yesterday. Or maybe I'll bring it up.
You could pretend yesterday didn't happen, but the reality of the situation is it did happen. But regardless, before I get into anything Mets related, we've been putting this off time and time again. And Ed, it's a Mets and Yankees podcast. It's not me taking digs at you. We don't have to be hypersensitive as a Yankee fan likes to be. We get it. But Devin Williams, man, I'm not putting this off anymore. You can't let me finish this. Wait. Let me finish, and I'll pass it to you.
You were going to finish another statement. Now you're coming to Devin Williams. Finish your records. Go back to that.
we'll go to the records going, but you can't defend this guy. This is getting rough. The Yankees, again, have 5 losses when leading in the eighth inning or later. This is the most MLB, primarily due to Devin Williams. He has allowed 13 earned runs in just under 12 innings. This matches his total from the previous 2 seasons combined when he was with the Brewers. Put that in perspective, Ed. And I'm not taking a shot at you. I'm just pointing out that this guy flat out stinks right now, and you can't possibly defend him still, can you? Because I don't think Yankee fans are going to agree with you if you do.
No, Yankee fans aren't. And I think one thing I'm going to just defend is the fact that it isn't primarily Devin Williams. 3 of those have come, unfortunately, while Mark Leiter Jr. was on the mound, who has been really effective for us, which is really kind of what, the awful part of being in the bullpen is, right? You have great days, you could have a great week, you could have a great month, and it'd all be undone by 2 or 3 bad performances. Or, again, some really bad scenarios where it just doesn't work out. You give up little dinky hits, you give up a little walk here and there. So things have been unraveling. And something that I want to talk about is not to defend Devin Williams, but a lot of the way that game broke down, and similar to what we've been seeing a lot of this season, is a similar kind of breakdown. So he walks a batter, gives up a dinky little hit that probably could have been, it's what you're doing your job for. You're getting the guy to swing off balance and not get the hit he needs. So he's doing some impactful things, but he's walking too many still. I'll give absolutely that. It's the walks that are killing him right now.
Is it just the walks, though, or is he not striking out as many?
No, he's striking guys out, because here's what happened, right? This is where the game broke down, and this is where I kind of felt it going the wrong direction. As I have the dry mouth real quick, let's get some water in here. As I'm defending Devin Williams,
like salivating.
You can hear it. No, I wish I was salivating. It's a dry mouth because I'm desperate for some water. We need some relief. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair. Yeah,
all right. That's why you need a fireman. You need the relief man, because he needs to douse the whole thing with some water, and that's what I'm not getting right now. We're still burning up in the mouth right now. So over caffeinated. But I want to go back to what happened, where it's 2 outs, right? Men on first and second, and you get Fernando Tatis Jr. to strike out swinging, right? He gets a bad pitch called against him on the second strike, just below the strike zone, and where Devin Williams is finally starting to look like his changeup is just falling off the table enough to fool hitters, where he had been kind of like all over the place, right? So, again, it's control, things not really deceiving the batter enough to swing at that pitch that's close, where, again, Tatis, one of the best hitters in the game, still hitting 321 with 8 homers, comes up in that position, and Devin Williams makes him look silly, right? Tatis Jr. turns around, says horse shit to the umpire, I'm pretty sure. That's all he says. Gets thrown out of the game in the 8th inning, right? Rain's still coming down. It's an ugly night. We all know the weather in New York right now. So then Mike Shildt comes out, causes a delay in the game for about 5 minutes, making a whole scene, dog and pony show for what purpose? Oh, throw off the timing and rhythm of Devin Williams. This is brilliant managing. In a crappy weather environment, already in a fishbowl environment where he's been not good. And, let's play on that. That's the mental side of the game. That's the delay. That's what you do. You ice the kicker. What are you doing? You're icing the reliever. So Mike Shildt did a brilliant job. Put a whole act out there on a very borderline pitch that could have gone either way, and no one should have been that upset about. So when you look at motivations, you look at a team that's really good and has good chemistry, like the Padres right now, who are on a 6-game winning streak as, result of that awful inning. Then again, it's what do you do? Williams has to come back, get back reset, and be as accurate as he can be with that pitch that, if he's not firing it with his rhythm, is likely to not be located properly. So again, he should be doing the job, but who comes up next? God, I forget now, but he walks the next batter. Who was it right before Machado? I don't know.
Cronenworth or one of those guys? I don't know. I haven't watched the podcast.
It wasn't Cronenworth. It's just, I was watching the whole thing, but it's evading me right now. But then what do? Take him out. 2 outs. They take out the guy that you're supposed to trust to get these outs. Bring in Weaver with bases loaded on a crappy rainy night.
That's who you trust, though, so I don't disagree.
Of course, I actually disagree. At that moment, you already had the game won or lost with Williams on the mound. He gets the next guy. I believe he either gets him or you lose that game. You go with the guy that, fine. But then Weaver gave up 2 hits that lost us the game. So
it's true. Everything regresses to the mean, and he was due. If you don't give up a run, right? Weaver, I was talking about Reed Garrett, they're due to give up a run eventually, or
exactly. So this feels a little more like Boone over managing. It feels like, okay, we've got a head case in there, and we don't want to let him go down in flames. Yeah, I don't know what they're trying to do. They're trying to overprotect now. So what do? They overcorrect, and that's kind of the stamp on the Boone managerial tenure. It's a little bit of what the Yankees have also become, which is unfortunate because a lot of these losses are not just the pitchers. It's the infield making a little bit of an egregious error or a mental mistake, bobbling, looking a little fumbly footed. This is my fear. This is my biggest fear, Alec. It's becoming the stamp of the Yankees to look a little like the moment is too big for them. And that's what's really concerning. Right?
Well, I think it's the DNA and the players you have on that team now in that roster. I think that whole bottom of the order, and we'll get into this, after we get into the actual rundown of this past week. But from what I'm seeing all over Twitter, online, hearing from different reports, is that bottom of the order and that infield depth that you have, like it was not. I don't know. I think it was overlooked in the offseason because I feel like you're banking so much on who you had on the roster to deliver and come through for you. At the corners, at second base, at short. But like they're just not. I feel like there's a lack of depth there.
But what's interesting about you saying that is they're not even the problem. It's just, I mean, Volpe's has the highest runs defensive
outside
runs
of
saved
Volpe,
out.
mind
No,
you,
but here's
yeah.
my point. Volpe's responsible for 2 or 3 of these games. Like some of his plays and his literally just jumping all over the place or catching himself off guard. Again, I don't know if he's a head case. I know he's really sure-handed, but he normally makes half the plays that he's getting caught on. It's just, I don't know how to tell you this. It just feels like perfect storms. So I'm not making excuses. You got to win these games if you're going to be a great team. And to have 5 of these losses is terrible. But
and your role players need to help out and perform. And Oswaldo and Oswaldo and Oswald always throws me off.
Yeah, Oswald hasn't been hitting, which is unfortunate, and he's supposed to be an elite fielder, but he's looking a little slow. Oswaldo is kind of playing all over the place and is doing a better job.
Fucking Pablo Reyes out there playing 13 games. Like
we shouldn't have Pablo Reyes. We should have some other depth. And
that's what I'm saying.
Yorbi Vivas coming up is, I think, a nice opportunity for him to showcase some things. So I think we have the talent. It's just that a lot of guys are being forced into action when they weren't expected to. And maybe the Yankees are feeling like, hey, our development isn't where it should have been at this juncture for these positions. I told you this already, too. Losing Gleyber Torres has been a big problem. We need a right-handed, sure-handed second baseman. And what do we need? And what is he doing? Like you said.
He's killing it. He's hitting close 300. But yeah, no, I hear everything you're saying. Obviously, we're going to dive and dissect into all of that. But I really wanted to highlight Devin Williams to start because everything you said is valid and makes sense, and also that is just great managing because mental is, we talk about it a lot in the pod. It's a massive part of the game, and I meant to tell you offline. We haven't talked a bit. I finally pitched in the men's league.
Hey, there you go. Also, I just want to say it wasn't great managing by Boone. I wanted to say that it wasn't.
Not Boone. I'm talking about Schilt.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, perfect. Just want to make Boone, sure we're clarifying. Yeah,
for the fans. For the fans. I don't like Boone. I'm a Mets fan. Fuck Boone. Great managing by Schilt.
Hey,
regardless. It is so mental, and just quick touch on here. I'm not highlighting any great performance by my own doing. It was a struggle, Ed. I was out there. I started the game. Great first inning. 1 walk, strikeout, got out clean. But then the problem is in this league, I wanted the bat too, right? And you could either choose to just pitch or choose the bat. And I put myself in the lineup because I wanted to still bat. So I'm up 2 men on, second and third, 2 outs, and I strike out to end the inning. And I take that shit with me back to the mound to start the second inning. So I'm not even thinking, here's the mental side, right? I'm not even thinking about, and this isn't really relatable because we know pitchers don't bat in MLB anymore, but it still highlights the mental side of the game is I'm back on the mound, beating myself up while I'm up there, throwing my warm-up pitches, just thinking about how I struck out there. I should have got a hit. I swung at a crappy pitch in the dirt. I had the guy, he wasn't that great of a pitcher, whatever, running through all the scenarios and not even focused on that batter at the plate. So next thing you know, I walk 3 guys in the inning. The bases are loaded. There's an error by my first baseman. He drops the ball. An error by my shortstop. Long story short, 2 innings, 50 pitches. I only give up 1 hit. 3 runs, only 1 earned because the first baseman, opened the floodgates. 2 strikeouts. But the most important thing is the shoulder felt good. But the point I'm trying to make is it's so mental because that whole inning, I don't even remember thinking about pitching. Like I just kept thinking about like you're supposed to have that goldfish mentality and the goldfish, quick to forget mindset, especially when you're a pitcher. And like the wheels fell off quick. And I don't even know how guys do it at the pro level when they're getting yelled at by 40,000 plus fans. Like I'm yelling at myself, but these guys are getting yelled at by 40,000 people and themselves, and then they're getting iced by the manager in a rainy condition. So yeah, he's not pitching well, but yeah.
Imagine if you're in front of little league parents, you'd be really screwed then.
Oh yeah, and there's we have some fans, the men league. It's not too many, but it's actually kind of funny. You have people rooting for you and cheering for you, don't even know who the hell you are. So it is kind of Kind of nice to hear that support. Like, let's go
Just the local
21. Don't even
yokels.
know. Random someone's dad. Don't even know who
Yeah.
he is.
Some locals are just like, "Yeah, what do you want to do tonight?" I don't know. There's some weird local men's league game. You want to go
It's
down? It's
free.
free. Why not? They say
Oh,
they'll give you free beer if you go down.
yeah, free beer.
Um,
Just bring your own.
no, dude. But that's what makes like the Otani thing even right now so incredible too, right? Like, how does he not think about that? The way he thinks about his craft. Not to give too much credit
Exactly.
to him still, but like it is. It's unbelievable that you go out and do those things. And like
Yeah.
I think of Paul O'Neill in the outfield, just all he was working on was his swings. So I'm thinking about you on the mound, just like going through your swinging motion instead of your pitching motion.
And it's so true. And I think about, and then I'll get off of this, but I mean, it was great, by the way, just be back out there. I definitely want that ball again because I'm going to fucking own it. But
Hell yeah.
the point is, like, if I chose to not bat, right, I chose just to focus on pitching, which I should have been my first start in 12 years. Let the fans know that's why it was rough. First start in 12 years after surgery. But
Hey,
yeah, if I was
sounds
just
like Jamie
pitching,
Moyer out there.
right? Yeah, Jamie Moyer, the soft lefty, Tom Glavine, whatever. But yeah, if I was just pitching and I had a great first inning, I probably would have been super confident going back in the second. Instead, I wasn't when I should have been because I was pitching fine, but I struck out swinging. So I thought about that. So just a
Yep.
very big mental game, and like people don't understand that or look at that as much. I think it's the most mental sport out of any of the major sports. Um, just because I feel like you're alone on an island a lot of times in baseball, right? You're alone at the
Every
plate, or
time.
you're alone on the mound. You're standing in center field alone, trying to track down a ball to the wall, right? And
Totally.
it's just different. Yes, it's a team sport, but there's so many solo performances throughout the game that people don't look at, right? It's all ties together at the end, but there's
The
a lot of
spotlight's on you.
yeah, the spotlight's always on you. When that ball is hit and it's coming right to you, no one's gonna help you. You got to make that play. So
Oh, dude. Like, I hate to take it back to anything that I'm doing because I'm competing at an even lesser level. I'm doing softball on
let's
weekends in a
go.
co-ed softball league, right? So
Love
one that
that.
you and I used to participate in, similar to, but just mostly because I don't feel like committing to the overall fitness regime that I would probably need to get onto the field again. But hey, and it feels good to be the one who knows what he's doing out there among a group of people who's like, oh, this is maybe my first time, or I've been played since high school. So, a little confidence boost, but not this Saturday.
How'd you do? How'd you do?
I mean, listen, I did fine at the plate. I mean, like one of the fastest people, which is shocking if you know me. So, someone's like, "You got wheels." I think they might be making fun of me because I'm just trying to beat things out as much as I can, not tearing any
Just
hammies.
fall head first, trying to just beat out a ground ball.
Yeah, usually that would happen. So, no, I handled myself well at second base. Got a couple hot shots that people were impressed by, but my arm was feeling weird and like noodly, and like I wasn't sure if I was getting the ball at first right. I just couldn't get it right. You when you can't get that slot.
Oh
So
yeah.
I
Oh,
go
I
to
know
the
that. I know
right.
that
You're like,
slot.
oh, I'm gonna overthrow it, or I'm like way too strong, or I just can't get it. I
I had
just
like
can't get
five
the ball
wild
over.
pitches, Ed. Yeah, that slot was not there.
Oh, bad. Oh man. See, I was Chuck Knobblocking out there. I couldn't get the ball to the first base. I was just terrified I was going to ruin the game out there. So I was like, listen, guys, put me in the outfield. I can run some stuff down. I generally have pretty good depth perception, and like we're having a rough time keeping the ball in front of us. So let me just get out there. And I take left field, being full of ego. And we got guys like rocking in balls out there. And so I get in position, and I don't know what happens, but between batter to batter, I like go from left center to shift back to right. And I'm not fully paying attention, and the ball gets thrown, and next thing you know, it's coming straight at me, or like out, like it's launched. And I'm playing a pretty deep left at this juncture, so I just start cutting over, and I get myself glided in position. I'm like, oh, I'm right there. Yeah, I'm not right there. It sails right over my glove, dude. It
No,
was
no.
horrifying, and like
Ugh.
right over, like if I
It's a
just kind
hard
of
sport, no matter the level.
if I
It doesn't
just like
matter.
two steps to my right, and like when I was going to track it down and like a little further back, anyway, just yeah, gets over
No,
my head.
it's sorry,
And then I
continue.
just toss the ball in. I like miss my cutoff man. I'm just like throwing the ball over the place because I'm not thinking. Now I'm just like make up for it with brute
That's it.
force.
And you're
And
out of your mechanics, and it's such a game
yep,
of what ifs, dude. And that's how I
totally.
felt too. My second at bat. And then to get off this, I know you and I just love talking baseball, no matter the level. Softball, co-ed softball, men's league baseball, little
Hey,
league, who
it's New York
cares?
Baseball
It's New
Podcast.
York
That's what it's
baseball pod.
about.
We're playing in New York. So and my second at bat, I'm still waiting for my first hit this season. I've hit a lot of balls hard, but bad luck, right? It's the what
Yeah.
ifs. And I'm over seven coming out of this game in seven
Ooh.
at bats. And it hurts. I'm looking for that first hit. And now we're off for Mother's Day, so I'm waiting 2 weeks to play again. But
No man.
I'm up with the man on third, one out. I'm like, okay, just get the run in. Like, this guy's not pitching well. I smoke a line drive, hardest hit ball of the season, right at the third baseman. He catches it, tags the guy at third, double play. Ends
Of
the inning.
course.
And I come in the dugout, I'm smashing the helmet, and I don't get well, I don't, you know me. I guess I do get like that, but I try not to. I'm trying not to, but it's an emotional game. It gets you in your own head and it's mental, right? And you're just, it's a game of what ifs. I'm like, what if that was 2 inches over his head? It's double down the line. You score a run and you're feeling good, but
That's it.
it's
And that's
not
just the
not the
game.
case.
A
It's
game
just
of
the game, the
inches, a
game we
game of
love.
a couple hits, separates you from a 250 to a 300 hitter. It's absurd how small the
Oh yeah.
margin of error is. So,
I just
yeah,
want a
dude.
batting average.
Well, that's the thing I'm doing well. I'm just getting single after single. Like I haven't gotten any power. I just started to get some line drives. It's only my second or third game of the season, but so like, and then ultimately I scored a couple runs. We get close to tying it up. We lose by like a run, and it's probably because I missed that ball in the outfield. So what
But
are you gonna
Ed,
do?
it's a team sport, and we won on a walk off, so
Hey,
clean,
atta babe.
clean slate, wiped it away.
See, good for you guys. We're
It's
0
not.
and 3.
Oh, all right, you'll get it. You'll get
Yeah,
that first win soon. Don't
it's
worry.
been
I
tough.
have
It was
faith
a
in you.
tough Saturday.
Tough Saturday for sure. It sounds like tough Sunday for me, but good Sunday for the Westchester Nationals. We got to celebrate a walk off, so
Atta babe.
all good. We're 2-1 on the year. So Ed, we will
Cheater,
jump.
traitor, Nationals player, Alex Schwartz.
No, 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 no. It's not the Washington Nationals. Westchester.
You should see he's repping that jersey more than a Mets gear this year, guys. Don't let him fool you.
We got the tickets. We got the Mets tickets on deck, but at least it's not a Phillies jersey because I would just have to quit the league or Braves jersey.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um,
That's fair.
but Ed, I know we touched on Yankees. Obviously, we got a little sidetracked on our baseball and softball antics, but onto the Mets. I'll give you a quick rundown on how I feel where we're at. Pass back to you. We don't have to go crazy in depth here. I just want to give the people a recap, how we're feeling about the team, what's to come, injuries,
Yeah,
call
we did
ups.
like segment 3 number like first this time around. It was like we did it all backwards. We
Yeah,
led
yeah,
with the yeah. I don't even know. I like it.
yeah. I had to start with Devin Williams because I feel like we didn't touch on him the past 2 weeks and we probably should have.
My boy getting massacred on the Instagram too. Every time I look up, Alec is adding some new fact on the
I'm just
story.
Ed,
Oh,
it's
Devin
just what
Williams
he's
trash.
doing,
Devin
dude.
Williams
Okay,
trash. We
enough on
gotta
Devin
stop.
Williams. Enough on Devin Williams. But let's talk the Mets. Let's talk the good. We're 10 games over
Yeah.
500. Hasn't been great, I mind you. I know I just touched on we're 5-5 in our last 10. And also the Mets again at home. We're 13-3 at home. But on the road we're 10-10. I know we touched on it a little last week. Definitely Mets and Yankees both are 500 on the road actually, and that's what I think both sides have to clean up. But the offense for the Mets, we've woken up like we touched on last week. We're averaging 5 runs a game in the last 7 games since we've last talked, Ed. And that's, looking at the series against the Diamondbacks at home, going to St. Louis, playing 3 there, and then also including yesterday's win now out in the desert. But the pitching, that's what has regressed. It's given up an average of 4+ runs a game in the last 7. Not astronomical, not awful. These have been very close games, mind you. We've lost a lot of these games by the margin of 1 run. But it's primarily still the bullpen. Our starters team ERA is still number 2 in the league behind the Padres at a 2.91. We also lead the league in strikeouts and are posting a 23-13 record for our starters. The highest starting ERA on our team, Ed, is a 3.06 by David Peterson. So that just tells you right there, honestly, like how good this starting rotation has been. And again, with Manaea still and Montas, whatever, still on the shelf and to come. But I have to give a quick shout out before I continue. Griffin Canning last night got his 5th consecutive win, I'm pretty sure. Wow. And I feel like I have to confirm that stat, but I'm pretty sure it's the first time since I want to say 2019 it was. I have to confirm that. People might beat me up on that online, but whatever. First time in the past 6-7 years where a Mets starter has posted 5 consecutive wins in a row. I think it dates back to 2019 again with Zach Wheeler. I think that's what the stat was. So
Wow.
Canning, man, 2.5 ERA. He's 5-1 on the season. 36 innings, 37 strikeouts, only 15 walks to 36 innings. He is making me eat my words, excuse me, and I've never been happier because I beat this guy up in our predictions early.
Sure did.
Spring training. So shout out Griffin Canning.
Yes, he canning.
Yes, he can. And he gets my award of well, we never really deemed a positive award. I feel we had negative awards. But
Yeah,
he gets my award of the Can award.
Well, it might be called the Can award. Honestly, yes, he can. Like we might as well. I like that. He's doing it. It's like
right?
Yeah, and like the Sandlot, you got can. You can create some sort of thing that connects, right? I like it.
And
in honor of Griffin Canning.
In honor of Griffin Canning, and man, he deserves it. Everyone else is obviously pitching great, obviously Senga, but these are guys that you assume would still have solid stats, maybe not to what they're doing, but Canning, we did not see this coming at all. So good for him. I'm really proud of the guy, and I'm happy for him. And these numbers that also might be skewed a bit. If anything, we did have Blade Tidwell, the Mets' 15th best prospect. He has good stuff. He has a hard fastball. We called him up just to start the doubleheader on Sunday, game 1 against the Cardinals. in St. Louis. We rained out Saturday, and I know Mendoza, historically looking at the past few seasons, likes to be more conservative in game one, which I have no issues with. Going with, kind of a bench, a lot of your bench players starting in the field. You're calling a guy up, or you're making, or you're using what's it called, an opener, right? Always conservative in game one of a doubleheader, hoping to steal the win, and then you finish off game two strong with your typical starting lineup and a good top starter, within your rotation. But we went with Blade Tidwell. Did not fare well. He got shelled. I hate to say shelled because there was a lot of soft contact, a lot of soft hits, a lot of unluckiness.
Oh,
But but 3 innings.
Oh,
What?
so you're saying
Oh
soft
no,
hits and unlucky, and that's not good being shelled, right?
no, but
Oh,
no,
so
but
you're
I'm not
that
giving
sounds
him
like
credit. He
excuses.
still
It
pitched
sounds
like
like
shit.
excuses. It sounds
Three
like
and
excuses. I
I'm
don't
not.
know.
No, but Ed,
It, it,
I'm not.
it,
I'm not making
that,
excuses for him. 3 innings,
the
six
anatomy
earned
of a
runs,
loss, you know.
2 walks. I'm not happy with his performance. His family was there. I feel for him. I feel for his family. He's 22 or 23 years old.
Oh
First
yeah, I
MLB
feel
start
bad
on the
for a
road.
22-year-old major leaguer. I feel so bad.
You're just being bitter now,
I'm
dude.
sorry. I'm
Three
just
innings,
being.
6 runs. He did awful. That essentially, one of my point is it's definitely skewing our starting rotation numbers even further. I know we have a 2.91 ERA. You take those numbers out, we'll be right up there with the Padres. So, again,
Hmm.
starting rotation looks great. The bullpen is still the issue, but also more than the bullpen, I do want to touch on our runners in scoring position because, however, we could have easily won, to my point earlier, most of these games if we just hit with runners in scoring position. The story is old as time. We've been talking about this a lot. It's still hard to complain again when we're 23-13, still up in the division. But yeah, it's a thorn in our side, and it has been for a while now. And again, I feel like I talk about this and I'm beating a dead horse every week and every year when I talk about the Mets. But I'm going to give you the quick breakdown here. Game two against the Diamondbacks last Wednesday. Um, we lost 4-3. 0 for 10 with runners in scoring position. Game three last Thursday, we lost 4-2. Only 0 for 2 runners in scoring position. Not much opportunity there. Just really got out pitched by Zach Gallen at home. We lost a series of Diamondbacks. We go to St. Louis. We break out game one against the Cardinals. We win 9-3. Rained out Saturday, doubleheader Sunday. This is where I really wanted to highlight, Ed. 20 hits. The Mets had 20 hits in the doubleheader, and we lost both games. 6-5 and 5-4, respectively. Game one, 3 for 15 with runners in scoring position. Game two, 3 for 11. So that's a total of 6 for 26 with runners in scoring position. And we lost both games by 1 run. So come on now. That should be a sweep in our favor. Of course, I have to note this. I don't know if you
Should
saw
have been, could
this.
have been, would have been.
No, yeah, I'm sure you saw this, but we were definitely the Cardinals helped themselves out. A crazy 3-run home run robbery of Juan Soto by Victor Scott in game two of that series. And that was like the fourth inning of game two, which would have given
Mm.
us the lead. And then out of nowhere, a previous top prospect for the Cardinals, Michael McGreevy, don't even know who the hell this guy is, comes in,
McGreevy, yeah.
pitches 5+ shutout innings in relief, holding us to 1 hit and no runs to shut out. And I think he got the last 10 batters out and he shut us down the rest of the way.
Yep.
But I had to highlight that because the Mets, outside of, I'll get to the bullpen shortly. I want to pass it to you and talk through your hitting a little bit, and then we'll talk a little bit on injuries and, the Mets bullpen. Um, but yeah, it's not great right now, and a big contributor to the struggles with running in scoring position. And I hate to do this because he has woken up a bit. Juan Soto is definitely doing a bit better, but with runners in scoring position, he's not. He's 4 for 29, hitting 138 with runners in scoring position. That is so unlike him.
Mm.
And yeah, it's notable because again, like in his career, this is all below career standards. Looking at his on base percentage with runners in scoring position, slugging percentage. Again, despite that slump with runners on base, he's still hitting around 260, 5 home runs, 14 RBIs. OPS is back over 800. But this is where you need him to thrive, and this is where you need him to come through. Thank God Pete Alonso is really carrying that weight and that
Yeah.
load. It's actually insane what he's doing, and he also
Unreal.
gets the Can Award, the Polar Bear Award. He gets all the awards because I don't even have to highlight what Pete's doing anymore. He's looking like a mini. I can't say a mini Judge because I know it's still not comparable, but you have to
Yeah, he's
say
still like 100
he's
points
still up
below
there.
everything. It's no, it's just crazy. For as
That is
incredible as
crazy.
Alonso's season has been, he's still 100 points below on every
And that's
category.
insane. He's hitting 350 and
It's
like
insane.
33 RBIs to what does Judge have?
He's
Probably high.
close on
Yeah.
RBIs. He's like 35 or something. It's like they're close on the other categories, but like in terms of just like slug, on base or batting average, he's still at least 75 points below on each thing. So it's just like that's
It
how
is crazy.
insane what Judge is doing is. Because like otherwise, Alonso, his season would be talked about by everybody,
Yeah, he's
but
still like
it's being overshadowed in his own city.
yeah, sorry, I was gonna say he's still also like 100 points down in OPS, and his OPS is a 1-1 plus.
Right,
Like that's
right.
pretty crazy. And but the most important stat, the fuck bomb count, where we're at 20 between Judge
I
and
know. I was
Alonso.
just pacing it out yesterday. We were see, I had my whole script and
20% there, baby.
got all fucked up, but we were on a season pace for about 90. We're probably at like 91 or 92 now. So
Ooh, got to pick up the
with that,
slack
but yeah,
if the
we're about
fans want something to happen.
that's only like 45 per guy, which seems really low, right? I feel like we should definitely be at 100. So
It does feel
we'll hope they
low.
pick that up with a little bit of warm weather. We'll have some better luck.
Yeah, I think they will. But yeah, man, it's the runners in scoring position. If a couple balls land a different way, or Soto takes a few less strike threes looking, I don't know what he's doing. Dude, you know what's bothering me with him? And then again, I'll pass to you and you could talk about your
No,
lineup
yeah,
before I get in the Mets
I love
injury
hearing what's bothering
issues.
Mets
But
fans about Juan Soto.
no, yeah, what's bothering me about Juan Soto, and yes, he's picked it up. He's definitely playing better, right? Just seeing that OPS over 800 is nice, around 820, but definitely still not his best. The on base is under 400, and again, only 14 RBIs. Um, but he's still drawing his walks, right? 27 walks. But the issue is he's getting too conservative. I talked about this a week ago or 2 weeks ago, where 2-1 counts, 3-1 counts, hitter counts, right? His kind of count, where he'll
Mm.
look to drive the ball. He's taking a changeup right down the middle. He's taking a hanging slider. He's taking a fastball in the outside corner. Instead of being super aggressive and swinging, and then he's getting into two strike counts. And then maybe they have a strong 2-2 slider that he chases in the dirt, which again, he hasn't really been chasing at all, which again, we know he doesn't do. But my point is that he's getting too conservative and he's not swinging it at the juicy hitter's pitch on a 2-1 or 3-1 count. Instead, he's
Mm-hmm.
getting the full counts or 2-2 counts, and he's getting more defensive on his swing. And maybe it's not as aggressive in terms of where he's trying to hit the ball. And then it's a lazy grounder or a lazy pop fly or a lazy fly ball. I think he needs to hunt more and be a little more on the offensive. I think that's where he's missing out. Like your walks are great. 27 walks to 132 at bats is a great rate. But we know he does that. But where is the offense? Where is the hits? Where is the aggressiveness? And that's what we're missing. I don't see any Soto shuffles, and that's pissing me off so much, dude. I don't get it. Why is he not shuffling? I don't
I
get it.
listen. I mean, when you're not owning the league at the plate right now, it would kind of make you look a little silly to be shuffling. I'm sure when he gets a little more confident and starts hitting more in the range of what he's used to, I'm sure we'll see the shuffle return. But
Yeah,
I
that's
also wonder
fair.
if part of it's like selling. I've told you this. I worry about the selling out for the walk. And when you have a guy like Alonso tearing the cover off the ball, is the message sort of like, hey, man, at least work your walks if you're not hitting? And then are you selling out more because you're like, oh, I'll be defensive because at least I'll work the walk because then I can pass the baton to Pete? Where
Yeah.
you're right, it's not hunting. It's like just pass it on because we got the guy who's doing it behind me. I really think the 2 hole for Juan Soto is a weirdly not okay place for him to be, right? Like
Yeah.
he's so much more valuable in the 3 hole at this juncture. Like move it down a little bit more, move Pete to the 4.
But
You
the
probably
problem is you
have other
can't
guys
mess
that
with
can
that
set the
now because
table.
of what Pete's doing. That's a tough part. Like I don't know if I would mess with it because Pete literally is leading the NL in like all hitting categories. And like
Right.
I
But with
agree
your
with you. I
offense
do.
being what it's
But
been, it's hard because you have more people set up for him to clear bases on where, Soto's not being, I don't know. It is a hard thing that, again, I know it works for him, the 2 hole, and he will probably come back and progress to the mean. But right now, it does feel like a mental game. And again, I bring this up a lot. The bigger ballpark is going to serve to be a little bit of it's going to mess with his head for a little bit coming from Yankee Stadium, watching some of these balls that were sure home runs, these line drives where you're rewarded for a home run, on a pull side, which is not changing his approach. Don't get me wrong. But
mm,
some of those are going to turn out into outs and things are going to fall down a little bit as far as,
it,
all around production.
well, you know
Doesn't
what's
change the fact
interesting?
that he should be better than what you're seeing though.
Sorry, no, it's a good point. You know what's interesting about all this is like there's not even that much pressure on him at all because not only what Pete Alonso's doing, but dude, other guys have woken up, and we know Lindor's been consistent. Nimmo's woken up. Mark Vientos is finally looking like himself of last year and like his playoff self. I mean, he's woken up. He's hitting 3 or 350 plus in his last 4 or 5 games now. And like you have Alvarez back, right, hitting 280, and you have Marte who's actually waking up as well. And McNeil's not doing much, but regardless, like that's still 5, 6, 7 of your staple guys in your lineup picking up the slack and performing well, and there's depth there. And like Soto is kind of falling to the wayside, right? He's not even like a a focal point of that lineup. I feel like people aren't pitching around him. Like I don't. That's my point, I guess, right? People not pitching around him, like go after them, like make them pitch around you again, and then let Pete feast even more. Like I don't know, like there's
Right.
no stress or pressure on him, so I think it's him in his own head putting the pressure on himself.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a weird, and again, that's where the weird mental game comes
Mental
in. And if we continue to just put it down
contract.
to what paper says, contract again, place in the clubhouse, face, whatever, any of it. And even if he doesn't want any of it, it's still stuff. It's still talk. It's still, it is. It's New York. It's a fishbowl. It's baseball, Susan. Like it's just how the game is, and I've
Fucking
seen it play
Susan.
out so much. I've just seen it play out so much with the Yankees, time and time again. Jeter and A-Rod felt like the first introduction of it, like just personalities, expectation, all that jazz. Stanton now with Judge and everything that came with that, and the baby bombers were built for championships, not championship. So, like all these things come into play where it's, if you set yourself up for something and expect so much of something, oftentimes you're going to see how it goes. Devin Williams, right? It's not going to
Yep.
provide the reward you're hoping for. That's the bad side of high expectation or too much expectation. So ultimately, it's just like, right? It's a humbling game. Expect the guy will become what he should be. Again, progress to the mean. I believe Williams will do the same. And that's where, and I believe Judge, Alonso will regress in some fashion,
They
obviously.
have to,
So,
right? If they
right.
don't, they're both winning the MVP.
Or something's really off in baseball and they got the key to it and nobody else knows what the fuck's going on. So, um, yeah, anyway, that's why you can't get too high, too low on these things. And again, Soto will be Soto. It's just, yeah, $765 million man. You never know what anybody's worth, but it's not your money that's paying him. So I
No,
guess it's just your beer money.
yeah, well, that's exactly it. The beer money and just how much it costs at the park nowadays to get into the ballpark. But yeah, man,
See, you guys got to worry about parking. We got our train set up beautifully. You don't even have a Metro
yeah,
North station.
like
Suckers.
a no, you're right. That is a whole that's an issue. But regardless, without Soto really performing, like we're top 10 in all MLB hitting categories for most part, looking at hits, runs, walks, average, OPS. Um, well, barely clipping it in terms of, I'm just looking here in terms of average. Our OPS is definitely not great at all. But just under 800. Okay, sorry. Now I'm getting too much in the weeds on the stats. But my point is, without Soto really doing much, like we're still top 10 in all hitting categories. So we're definitely progressing and doing, to your point, like what we expected these guys to do, with some help from some of the role pieces and, Marte and Acuna and even Jose Azocar, like just filling in the outfield. Tyrone Taylor is getting red hot, which I love to see because I love Tyrone. He's just a great, great ball player and a great defender. And he's fast as fuck. But regardless,
That
Ed,
helps.
before we get to the injuries in the bullpen, I just want to hear how your offense is doing. Are they supporting the struggles on the mound? Like, what can they do more of to help you guys get back to Yankees brand of baseball?
Well, I've said it time and time again. I'm a broken record, and as much as some of the things you've mentioned remind me of the Yankees, and so much of what I've already talked about, their issues being things not lining up, guys not getting timely hits, whatever it might be. We still have a lot, great batting average with runners in scoring position. We still lead the league in on base and second in average and a slug. We're still all these categories we're leading, probably based mostly on the early going and a couple of giant wins, namely a 15-3 win over Baltimore and an 11-2 bludgeoning of Toronto. A couple games prior to that. But the issue still remains, man. We strike out way too much. Way
Mm.
too much. And we know the teams that cut down most on their strikeouts year to year tend to have the best success. And that goes all the way back to the Astros, cheating scandal or not. That's what led to their success. You cannot strike out that much. We have games where we have 14 strikeouts against the Guardians, where, a game that we won 5-1, by the way. So that's lucky. Losing game or another game where we struck out 10 times. That's the 11-2 win. So it doesn't always mean we're losing, but because obviously we're swinging for the fences in those games. So what comes with home runs? Strikeouts. But then you get a game like the 4-3 loss in the series opener in Baltimore last week, where Paul Goldschmidt hit a home run, should have been home run, robbed by Cedric Mullins in center field. So akin to what Juan Soto went through. So again, you can see where all these things feel very familiar, and similar between the Yankees and Mets parallels right now.
Mm.
But 15 strikeouts for the Yankees offense in that 4-3 loss. So again, losing by 1 run. That hit that Goldschmidt, again, should have been a home run, shoulda, coulda, woulda, would have given us the ball game, would have been a 5-4 lead at that juncture. So, things just aren't necessarily falling our way. And luckily, from that point on, with that 15 strikeout performance, the strikeouts fell 9, 8, 4, 4, and 4 for each against the Rays in the last series, but then spiked right back up to 9 strikeouts yesterday against the Padres. So we know how difficult the Padres pitching staff is. We know that the Rays can always be good, but again, managing only 4 strikeouts a game, and that is more like what you want to see. But we still lose that series to the Rays, right? We get the 3-0 win in the opener, but we lose the next two, 3-2 and 7-5. So those come down to, again, Mark Leiter Jr., not a great performance. Anthony Volpe had a rough go of it in the infield, popped his shoulder on that play, kept him out of the 5-7 loss the next day, where we could have used his bat and his defensive performance, obviously in the infield, or versatility, because we had some crunches going on in there, pointing to the depth that you mentioned, forcing Oswald Peraza in short and keeping people out of position, or maybe not in ideal positions where you might have been able to pinch hit and create opportunities for yourself, rather than be sort of pigeonholed to keeping guys in position. Again, so that sounds a little crazy, but let me rewind and make sense of that all for you. In the 5-7 loss to Tampa on Sunday, and really the bigger picture I'm trying to paint here is we do have some things that are just not really coming together for us. Little things falling apart where they shouldn't be. I know that that's not a recipe for success and not indicative of a good team. However, I do feel like there are minor issues that do get worked out in the course of a season. And when your injuries are happening the way they are and kind of biting us at the worst time, Jazz Chisholm going down when he did with the oblique injury for 4 to 6 weeks, they called it a flank. That's not ideal. I mentioned Gleyber Torres would be great right now for that reason. You got DJ LeMahieu working his way back, but whoever knows in terms of his injury history. So, yeah, you're dealing with Peraza, Volpe, Oswaldo Cabrera, and Yorbeat Vivas. So, Yorbeat Vivas, excuse me, who they just called up and is a on-base machine, generally speaking, and a singles-type hitter, but is a second baseman. And otherwise, you don't have you also have Pablo Reyes, whatever you want to say. But Anthony Volpe going down in that 2-3 loss on Saturday led to the Yankees having a bit of a crunch on the infield, not allowing for them to put in their best hitters when they needed to late in the game because of that defensive issue.
What about Lombard, by the way? Do you guys call? Is he coming back up?
No, he's just going up to Double-A. But
That's
19 years old, he's hitting the cover off the ball in the minors right now, obviously. So yeah, he would be a great long-term solution, and maybe he becomes an option in 2026 if he continues to hit the ball the way he is. Not this season. He does project more as a third baseman, and you can see why the Yankees aren't really going all in to find that big third baseman replacement, why they're sticking with DJ in, I believe, the last year or the second to last year of his contract. So you get what the Yankees are doing. It's just weird because the holding patterns they create for themselves don't allow them to capitalize on the now, obviously. And you have Judge in his prime doing what he's doing. There's no reason that you shouldn't be finding pieces to fill in these roles.
Yeah.
Nolan Arenado would be a really nice piece to have right now. I know he's not perfect, but he's still a defensive whiz. And
10 Gold Gloves over there.
Right. You need a right-handed bat. You've seen what Goldschmidt's been doing, coming from that Cardinals organization, revitalizing himself here. Arenado started really hot, obviously fallen off a little bit in recent weeks, but still the defender and the gamer that we've seen. We saw that play at Fenway Park, or I believe it was in St. Louis. Sorry, I don't know why I said Fenway Park. At Busch, and nearly decapitated a child. So he's a gamer. He would be great to have right now. But our issues really mostly lie in the fact that we're kind of boomer bust still.
That's what I was going to say. That's exactly what I was going to say. It's still home run or nothing. And you guys have to get out of that mindset.
And what's crazy is what we're doing is we're scoring similar to you guys. We're about 5 runs a game over the last 10, 5.5 when we were 5-5. So my whole point of the Yankees right now is that we're the definition of a mediocre team, right? Judge is hitting .414 with 33 RBIs in 35 games right now. Take away 11 home runs, he's still hitting close to 370, which is second in the league. And for perspective, Jeter hit 359 in 1999. The league average was 271. Today, the league average is 241. So he's literally doing things that are otherworldly, absurd to what the game has to offer. And outside of Pete Alonso, no one's even close to his stratosphere right now. So you can't ask much more out of him. Ben Rice has been kind of coming back down to earth a little bit more, still hitting the ball very hard, but can you rely on him to be your cleanup hitter the whole season? Good thing Stanton is probably going to be back sometime in the next, I don't know, month or two. But again, can't really rely on that. I don't think that our offense is purely boom or bust. I think right now we're running into soggy days, uninspired performances, and how you figure out how to get that figured out, I don't know. But Boone has to
Hopefully the
somehow.
warmer weather helps.
I'm hoping the warmer weather, but again, yeah, it's been soggy and kind of crappy weather for us, and like you can't make excuses. But again, when you're a team that relies on pop, right, hard hit balls, you're maybe missing some here and there based on rain, whatever it might be.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. The reality is we still just need to be more consistent, more runs, more hits. I don't even know why I'm saying that, because we're getting our hits, right? We're averaging like 9.5 hits a game over the last 10.
Well,
So
it's probably runners scoring position as well. Runners on base.
but
It's striking out in a big spot.
yeah, but we're not even necessarily doing that, which is kind of bizarre. It's really seemingly like sequencing, right? And like bad timing for certain things. Like, right, we got a 3-2-1 lead, 3-2 lead, 3-1 lead, whatever. And then next thing you know, we just have a bad inning and it falls apart. Like you said, we've had 5 games where we had the lead in the 8th inning and it just falls apart. So if we have those wins, we are talking about a 24-win team, right? Like no one's talking about any of our problems. So it's hard to really highlight any one thing being the problem. It's just like, yeah, we've had a few little issues. Like it sounds it's almost inexplicable, right? And I sound like an uneducated fan, but I'm watching these games. I'm at these games. Um, you know, and I guess the best thing to talk about is the fact that Max Fried continues to shove, right? Carlos Rodon continues to shove, 6 strikeouts again, another scoreless outing. He's got, I think, a .7 something ERA, .75 ERA over his last 4 starts. So continuing to be the guy that I hoped he would be. And it's just unfortunate that we can only seem to score 3 runs in those outings or 15. I don't know. It's just
sounds like DeGrom.
Yeah, a little bit DeGrom-esque. Will Warren is another example where he's getting a little bit DeGrommed, right? He's having some really nice outings and then just not getting the run support. Then he comes back out, has kind of a shaky outing, can't get any runs on the board until he's out of the game. Then you pull in Cookie Carrasco, then you start getting some runs. But even then, Cookie's just given up a couple runs in mop-up duty, which is admirable, and kept our bullpen from doing anything worse. But ultimately, by then, it was too late. So it's just like, it all just isn't lining up exactly as it should. And the realities of that are, when this happens, in my opinion, baseball gods will even it out and bring you the luck that you're so lacking right now. Yeah. So this sounds very like Miss Cleo, like, oh, trust me, guys, it'll all be okay. But everything shows you this team is better than what you're getting the result of right now. And I guess I just want to say, go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say you guys are gonna be fine. I'll let you finish your sentiment, and then I'll take the mic from you because I know
ranting.
No, I know you're trying to. Again, you're the team's struggling, so you're trying to let the people know that there's hope and opportunity ahead.
Yeah,
there's
listen,
hope.
It's not perfect. We're still up by 1. There's still hope. Star Wars Day just passed. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You are my only hope. So we do have more to look forward to than it looks like on these, whatever you want to call it, 4 and 6. I'll say the 5 and 5 prior to last game, 5 and 6 in our last 11, however you want to put it. But again, we're still leading the division by 1, so everybody's trying to just give each other the
You're right there.
Now.
That's all that matters,
and that's all that matters right now. But you'd like to see these more encouraging things or signs at least all around, because as much as on paper it looks like we're just kind of like a trash team that's lucky to be in this position, I would say it's the opposite. We're actually a really good team that's really not getting the luck, or the, they call it in hockey puck luck. We're not getting the ball to bounce or roll our way a lot of the time, and we're still doing this. So Cody Bellinger's starting to hit the ball with a little bit more authority. We need to see that. Volpe, before he got hurt, was starting to hit the ball with a little bit more authority. Austin Wells is starting to finally come around and hit the ball with a little more authority. So guys who were struggling previously
progresses to the mean.
Again, that's where it's going to go. And fans, this is probably the most boring assessment of a team you've ever heard. But
fans, we gotta teach Ed to just focus on what matters.
Oh, yes, we do. Which is the Yankees are in first place. So
Exactly. You're
you're
not.
right.
That's exactly it. What matters? What the spark note is? The Yankees are in first place. They're struggling still at the
Exactly.
plate. The pitching isn't figured it out, and the bullpen, obviously, we know the one piece there that's the biggest culprit. But my point is, Ed.
No, I'm telling you, it's Mark Leiter Jr.'s had some fun too. And again, and that's
Yeah,
the thing. He's been so reliable. It's just like you can't just don't give up on any given guy for a couple of bad outings, especially when you haven't gotten to your, best weather, ideal kind of circumstances for playing ball. These guys are creatures of habit and used to playing them in the summertime. So
yeah.
we'll see when it's time to freak out. I'll sound the alarm.
All right. And I was gonna say, we were almost out of time. That's why I wanted to cut you off, not because I don't like hearing you talk, but
Yeah,
just
that's
because
true.
we're
I
running
cut
out of
myself
time.
off.
I know. Yeah. You cut yourself off. I didn't do anything. But let's do this before we wrap up because I want to give uh, 2 to 3 highlights for the look ahead. Right. I'm gonna give some injuries on the bullpen, where we're at, what I'm worried about, what I'm looking for moving ahead, moving into this week, who we're playing, and then obviously foreshadow into the Mets Yankees series next weekend.
Yeah, that's
Um,
coming up. We got to have a whole rivalry episode, by the way.
yeah,
So
we'll definitely
teaser there.
we'll definitely tease that. But real quick, I'm gonna give 5 minutes. I'll give you 5 minutes, Ed. It's got to be 5 minutes.
No promises.
We're gonna try. All right. So injury bug. That's my biggest concern here for the Mets. Not even as much on the batting side of the plate, but Winker did go down. Unfortunately, as soon as he got
Down goes
action,
Winka. Down goes Winka.
I like that. But as soon as he got action in the field, of course, he's been primarily our left-handed DH. But of course, got some action in the field in the doubleheader, goes down with an oblique strain, and he's expected to miss 6 to 8 weeks, and he will be out until June. But what that does, it
Oof.
opens the door back for Brett Beatty, who was sent down AAA. Of course, tear the cover off the ball. We know how he is the AAA champion.
Yes, young
Um,
Master Beatty is
I
back.
I think he hit 3 home runs in one game in AAA right when he got sent down. So
Oh
within the
well.
first week, yeah, pretty crazy. So we're gonna let him keep getting a chance at this thing, and you never know. And again, dusting off the baseball card, and gonna plop it next to me tonight for the late Arizona game that hopefully he's getting in a bat or two in, maybe
For
starting.
quadruple A Beatty. Yeah, gotta love it.
Quadruple A Beatty or spring training Beatty. But worse off are the injuries out of the bullpen. Both are lefties. Danny Young, who, not the biggest loss, but still one of the 2 lefties we had in the pen. And AJ Minter, that's the big loss. Going down both with season-ending surgery. Young is, you know, again, whatever, it stings, but Minter was primarily our eighth inning anchor. He was really getting it going too. And you know how much I loved him. I talked about him early in the season. He was definitely a guy to look out for, and I think I highlighted him a lot. And he had a 1.64 ERA, 11 innings, 14 strikeouts, a one whip. He was looking great out there and started to figure it all out. So it's a shame to see him going down. I think it's a torn lat or something like that. So that sucks. And he decided to go with season-ending surgery. So I don't blame the guy. But all roads lead us back to Brooks Raley, who I
Hey.
always love Brooks, man. And he's a great lefty out of the pen, always reliable, throws strikes, and a big piece of this Mets team. Um, but he's still recovering. Again, he also got hurt. He was recovering from Tommy John, but we expect him to be back late June. So that's why we signed him because we knew we were lacking the lefty in the bullpen. So that's a huge pickup. Knowing we're short on lefties for the time being, it's going to be Genesis Cabrera, who I actually always liked. He used to be in the Cardinals organization. He's a little erratic at times, but I like what I've seen from him so far, and he's gonna have to hold it down for being the one lefty. And another option I did want to touch on that a lot of other guys were talking to is David Robertson, still sitting there. I know he's a righty, but he has great splits versus the lefties.
Yeah,
So
why
that would be
nobody's picked him up is
makes
insane.
no sense, dude. I mean, maybe he's asking for 1 year, 10, 12 million, but fuck it, like give it to him.
Yeah, I mean, he's also got like 1 or 2 years left. I mean, he could, at this rate, keep pitching like this for 5 or 6. That guy's in immaculate shape, too. And he's just like, yeah, he's just so good.
I know, and now like what we're doing is piecing it together and bandaging it together with a lot of guys, coming out of AAA and cycling them, in and out of the roster, sending them back up and back down. And some of these guys have done their jobs, right? Like we have guys like a Brandon Waddell who has posted 4 scoreless innings, and Chris Davinsky struggled actually giving up 2 earned runs in one of those games against the Diamondbacks. I primarily blame Mendoza's managing on that one. It was a one run game. We're going with Chris Davinsky to pitch the eighth and ninth inning instead of Reed Garrett. Made no sense. Whatever. That was a weird managing move.
Usage, maybe, or was it matchup? Like what?
No, we tried to look at all that, but like Diaz hasn't pitched in a couple days, and like Garrett didn't pitch in a couple days. Like your best guys, he's one run game. I don't know what he was doing there, but
Maybe
it
just
was
trying to
weird.
hold on to him for a win, possibly. I don't know. Not what you do,
Yeah,
though.
No, it was odd. But regardless, there's still production coming out of the bullpen. Guys are regressing to the mean. Guys are struggling. Stanek, primarily the biggest struggle in the bullpen, 4.26 ERA right now. Had some rough outings, but luckily he posted a scoreless inning the other day um, against the Cardinals to build back some of that confidence. Edwin Diaz starting to figure it out. Again, his ERA is a little inflated, 3.86, but that's primarily because of outings where it's not a save situation. I don't know what it is. When he's in a save situation, he's money. He's 8 for 8. So that's all that really matters at the end of the day with a guy like Diaz because that's your closer. And then Garrett, Brazaban, all holding it down. Max Kranick continues to give you length out of the bullpen. And luckily, with the injuries, we were able to get some depth back into Daniel Nunez, who was such a huge piece, came out of nowhere last season for the Mets. We know he went down with the injury late in the season. He came back. Don't know if he was ready to come back because yesterday he walked the bases loaded and we had to take him out. And we were winning that game 5-1, and luckily the Mets held on and we won 5-4 last night in the first game in Arizona. To again be one of two teams, Ed, fun fact, this season who haven't lost three in a row, us and the Cubs. So we were able to get away from potentially losing three in a row. So my look ahead, real quick, and I'll pass to you. My look ahead here is, yeah, the past 6 days, the Mets have played 5 1-run games. Clean up your runners in scoring position, clean up some of that bullpen struggles, which really, I can't even say struggles. It hasn't been that bad. Like, there's been no really high scoring or inflated games where the bullpen's given up 4 or 5 runs. But, I think we got accustomed to seeing too much good. So 1, 2 runs here hurts, I guess.
Yeah, well, see, now you're feeling how my whole season has felt. This is literally all like everything you've been saying. It takes my thunder a little bit, only because, well, not really. It's actually nice to feel validated and seen because everything about this Yankees team has just felt like, oh, you're there, just clean it up, just clean it up. Like
That's it.
all it is. It's tighten things up and make sure everybody's doing what they can do. Don't get out of your head. Just do your job.
I think the Mets, if anything, have just cleaned it up a little more, obviously. And that's why we're seeing the better record. Maybe, obviously the opponents were playing, but the Mets are starting to play some tougher teams and tougher games. We have the Cardinals, the Diamondbacks finishing up for 2 games in Arizona, day off Thursday, and then we go back home for a stint against the Cubs, who are, I think, one of the best offensive teams in baseball right now. They are tearing the cover off the ball. We know the depth they have in that lineup, and obviously we know they could pitch as well. Luckily, then we go, against the Pirates at home, and then we finish it up on the road, not too far down the road though, in the Bronx against the Yankees, which we will again have
Hey,
a midweek kind of foreshadowing and open, just series preview because obviously that's what we're doing on this pod is Ed Mets and Yankees pod. We got to give the people a true series preview. We'll do that probably roughly like a week from today, and we'll touch on a little Sunday, but Sunday will be
some
more
rivalry moments,
weekend recap.
Yeah, all the best of the best,
and we'll see where we're at heading into that preview. Wednesday of next week, and seeing what we've maybe improved on and fixed. But yeah, for the Mets to look ahead, cleaning up the runners in scoring position, literally just keep doing what you're doing from the starting rotational side of things, and then the bullpen, just also kind of keep doing what you're doing. I mean, with the struggles and regressing a bit from some of the guys like Stanek and Max Kranick, we're still seventh best in ERA. Looking at the bullpen, at a 3.18. So like that's nothing to sneeze at. Like that's a great bullpen ERA, and I'll take that all day, all season. So I'm not mad about it. I'm excited to see what's to come with Manaea. Obviously in June, Montas potentially back into May and June, and then Brooks Raley need him back on the Mets in June as well. So there's a lot on the horizon. A lot of opportunity for Brett Beatty. The players to watch, and then I'll pass it your way. Juan Soto, see if he could pick it up. Everyone else is kind of keeps doing what they're doing. So I think it's Juan Soto, it's Brett Beatty, and if Luis Angel Acuna could really continue to solidify himself as our starting second baseman because he's hitting almost 300. He won NL Rookie of the Month in April, and yeah, man, I'm not mad. There's really nothing mad at. I'm just highlighting that we've regressed a bit. It's baseball. You're going to, and that's going to happen. So let's win the series tonight, and let's go beat the Diamondbacks out in the desert and get some redemption back against Zach Gallen after what he did to us at home last week. Boom, mic drop. Mets are still number one in the NL East, baby.
From Stanek to Kranick, making Mets fans manic. It's Action Brunson. I got nothing, boy. I don't even know.
That was pretty good. Hey, that was pretty good. I like that.
That was sticking to my brain. I was holding on to that like with bated breath the whole time you were finishing your little spiel there.
No, I like that. That was a good little thought. And sorry, I know I just rattled off a lot. I just know we're short on time. So
5 minutes.
I want to give you a few minutes here, just what to look ahead.
Now I get 3.
Well, just because I know you'll go for five, I give you three. If I give you five, you'll go for 20. So,
That's fair.
no, I love you, man.
Give a
Just
man an inch. Give him an inch.
give him an inch. But what should we look out for in the week ahead? What do you want to clean up, and where's your focus on right now?
Well, like I said, everything sounds like we're living parallel existences
Don't
as
put us in the
fans right
same
now.
group. We're
Oh,
23
it
and
totally
13,
is.
baby.
Oh, listen, yours is a soft 23 and 13. We are a
Mm,
hard 19 and 15 or whatever the hell it is now. So,
16.
oh Christ. All right. Well, either way, 1916, not such a great year, but we bring it to now, and I guess I'll just lead off with tonight's starting pitching matchup because it brings a few things into focus. We've got Clark Schmidt back on the mound, who needs to get back into shape. He's, looked up and down, but looks like he's, coming back into his own a little bit more after his start against the Blue Jays. Didn't make his last start against Tampa because of a cranky flank or oblique, as they're calling flanks more now. So must be a little higher up in there. But anyway, he's back on the mound tonight against the Padres. Hopefully, helps stabilize the rotation. Continues to help stabilize the rotation past Fried and Rodon against these Padres, who are quite pesky, and our former king, literal king, Michael King, on the mound for the Pods. So he was the big return in the Trent Grisham trade, as I now like to call it, because Juan Soto is no longer a part of it, and we've all come to realize that the, what is it, 9 home run hitting, 298 batting average, 1,000.98 OPS, something along those lines. Trent Grisham, starting center fielder for your New York Yankees. Yeah, that dude is still tearing the cover off the ball in ways that I don't think anybody had expected coming into the season. So really love to see that continue, and him hitting the home run yesterday that gave the Yankees the lead against his former team. He's on a bit of a revenge tour. So keep your eyes on Trent Grisham. He's a former first-round pick that people have not really been giving a chance since that moment that he fumbled the ball out in the outfield for the Brewers against Juan Soto's Nationals those years ago in the playoffs. So you just never know when a guy is going to blossom. And I do wonder if Grisham's actually maybe finally blossoming into the hitter that people expected that he would become. That's still a little bit of a rant, but I'm liking where things are as far as our outfield goes. And other guys carrying the torch past Aaron Judge. So again, pesky Padres in town for the rest of this homestand, the next two games, as we already talked about. Lost yesterday's game, 4-3 loss, and as Alec mentioned, many one-run losses for the Mets. Just the same for the Yankees, or 1 to 2 run losses, I should say, if we're gonna expound upon it a little bit. But everything's been close. Battling back, you like to see a lot of the guys continuing to keep us in the game. I mentioned Yorby Vivas earlier, getting his first major league base hit against the Rays in a situation that brought us back into the game, that made it a 2-run game from what would previously been a 4 or 5-run game. So coming through with a big base hit, which is what we need him to do while he is up for us. In his time with the Yankees, we need him to be a singles hitter. We need him to be an on-base guy. So he could be a real X factor for our offense, especially with the infield depth being what it is. And I just want to give him a little bit of shine. Hopefully that gives him, the motivation to help, continue to carry us in places we might be lacking otherwise. Again, the bullpen is the bullpen. I feel good about it. Luke Weaver giving up his first run yesterday. People do need to remember he did give up an earned run on his own in that loss. So again, stop blaming Devin Williams for being imperfect. Nobody is perfect. Even Luke Weaver had moments last year where you wondered, should we move on? Do we need to bring Clay back into the closer's role? So let's just try to pump the brakes on freaking out about the bullpen, guys, because it really isn't the problem. The pitching staff, yes, has been shaky. Just to recap on that, Will Warren, I do want to highlight the fact that he has got some bulldog attitude and can strike dudes out like the best of them. That fastball has some ride, and that little change slider or sweeper action that he's got, really effective stuff. And if he can continue to locate and challenge hitters inside, come inside to the righties a little bit more and finish guys off rather than, sort of tinkering around the strike zone as much as he might be right now. I really think he can blossom into a true 2 type starter because he really does have the right mentality. He's just got to get a little more consistent. And again, it's just everything we've talked about, from the pitching to the defense. Just clean it up. Don't need so many walks. We're walking too many guys still. But Fernando Cruz continues to be lights out. All over our bullpen, you can point to guys having spectacular seasons. So you can't really feel too bad. And Alan Winans, I talked about it last time. If we need a spot start, Cookie Carrasco's been doing an admirable job, and so I still like having him in a long relief opportunity.
When I give you 3 minutes, you don't have to talk about every player on the team.
No, but these are just like
I'm just messing with you.
Big names, because I don't know who else really is like worth highlighting that nobody else really knows about right now.
Who should you focus on, this week? That's all. Like the week ahead.
Well, the week ahead, we got Padres, we've got Athletics, so we're going out to Sacramento.
Well, you already gave your 3 minutes, so I'm talking players.
Oh, I'm just telling you this. San Diego, Sacramento, Seattle, and the Mets. So we got a bit of a gauntlet in front of us. We know the Athletics are not as bad as people want to give them credit for.
I was going to give them a shout out. They're actually playing great.
Right, and they walked off the Mariners yesterday, and I believe they might be close to leading the division, if not already.
They're game out.
All right, so there you go. Jacob Wilson, speaking of strikeouts, never strikes out, also never walks. Insane. Son of Jack Wilson, big fantasy pickup for me in my keeper league, because strikeouts are, a lot of demerit. So this dude is hooking me up. But yeah, it's going to be tough. And what we really need to highlight, I guess, right now is continuing to get the pitching staff, where it needs to go. I don't know. I don't really know who I need to highlight right now, dude.
The whole team.
Talking about
outside of Judge.
The whole team. Outside of Judge, Goldschmidt's continuing to do the job. Dominguez, I would really like to see continue to be more consistent, and Cody Bellinger, I'd like to see be more consistent as well. Cody Bellinger has a hard time on the two-seam fastball from righties. Has way too violent a swing. We need him to just level that thing out a little bit more, which is what people were hoping for. So, yeah, I'm looking at a lot of these guys who have been a little slow and maybe in dampened Northeast conditions to go out west in Sacramento and maybe have themselves a time. Not that the A's pitching staff is, easy to necessarily go up against, but you might catch some thunder in a AAA ballpark with fewer crowds. Well, it's going to be packed out, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And maybe just a more comfortable environment to sort of break out of some of these slumps. So, yeah, I don't really know if there's much else to say other than tighten it up.
It's interesting too, and then we can wrap this up, is that it's kind of a show me week for both teams, right? Like the Mets, again, I know Arizona, they're a good team. We can't say they're not. Maybe they're not playing the best ball right now, but they're still a good team, and they're going to compete in that NL West. Obviously, the Dodgers kind of running away with it along with the Padres, but Giants are right there. Regardless, that's not easy. And then we come back home against the Cubs, who are the best offense in baseball. They have 217 runs versus the Yankees in second at 190. Like that's crazy. The Cubs are the best team in baseball. They lead the league in average. The starting ERA is top 5. The bullpen is where you could beat them up a little bit. They're, I think, bottom 20 plus of the league or whatever it is. So that's a challenge for us, playing the Cubs. Then luckily we have the lowly Pirates, who are 12 and 24, so not too worried about that. Hopefully a get right series, depending on how the rest of the series goes, and against the Cubs, because then we go play the Yankees in the Bronx. So prove a week. Let's clean it up, both sides of the ball for both teams, and then come face each other with our best, and then we can really have the Big Apple battle in full force. The first Mets and Yankees series, weekend series, mind you, that they haven't done in a long time. 3-game weekend set rivalry series. So with that, Ed, I'm going to wrap it up unless you had anything else to say.
Well, just because you said the Cubs very quickly, just remember with the Cody Bellinger comment, this is what's frustrating about Cashman and the Yankees. And, this is where you got to call them out a little bit. And when do they capitalize and how they, whatever. Let me just call it what it is. Kyle Tucker is what the Yankees wanted this offseason. He's what we're going to go after in the next offseason, right? It's going to happen. He's going to be priority number 1. They didn't make the trade because they didn't want to put Heel into the deal. He's out. He's hurt, whatever. Heel is going to be a very good pitcher. I get why you wouldn't want to give him to the Astros. It's very difficult. But instead, we go and trade with the Cubs to facilitate this deal to help them get Kyle Tucker and afford what they're, paying him. We take $25 million off their payroll by getting Cody Bellinger, who, again, is the poor man's Kyle Tucker. So hoping for the best out of him was a risky move. You're just going to hope it pays off at some point. Not to put too much pressure on you, Cody, but you see what they're doing out there. Kyle Tucker is a massive reason. He's not the only, but I would say he is the linchpin of that offense right now.
I mean, yeah, and they're super deep, and they have a lot of young talent that they have, built up and grown, and
Mm-hmm.
obviously, a lot of role pieces. Dante Swanson, Seiya Suzuki, who kills the ball.
And pesky
Nico,
guys,
you
yeah.
have the Mets' worst trade in most recent history. Giving them
Mm-hmm.
PCA and Pete Crow Armstrong, who is just he'd be in center field right now for us. Okay, don't get me started there.
And who did
But
you trade him for?
we got to wrap this up,
Go
Ed.
ahead, say it,
So
say it, say
nope,
it,
I'm
say it.
good.
Come on,
You could say it.
Javi,
Yeah, whatever. Hey, he
Javi.
had a good half a season.
He had a great half a season. That was the
And he's
and
back.
now
He is
he's
back.
back. It's crazy.
Javi Baez is back, and
And
that's
now
good for
he's a center
baseball.
fielder. So look at it.
Good for baseball. Javi Baez is back. The Rockies are in the bottom of in the dumps again. Great for
Ugh.
baseball. And the best thing for baseball, the Sacramento A's showing that you could still play and be competitive and love the game no matter where you're playing in the AAA ballpark and potentially take that division from the Mariners. So we'll keep tabs on that 'cause that's pretty exciting. Ed,
Yes, but fuck John Fisher.
sure. But Ed, this has been a great rundown. It's been great doing this with you. I just love to bust your balls because, I'm the Mets side of the pod. That's what we do.
Don't forget
We're the
this,
big
fans.
dogs. We're the
Don't
NL
forget,
East.
fans. They only want to talk about it after a win. They could
I'll
have
talk
talked
to you
after
after
a
a loss.
loss.
There's not
Well,
many
we'll
losses,
see.
not many losses to talk about. But
Well,
hey,
yeah, if you stay to
this
schedule, we'll see how it works out next time, fans. Just remember this. It's
we'll
all
find out.
skewed. The data isn't what they tell you. It's
Well,
just
we'll
what they
find
want to
out
tell
because
you.
what we're gonna do is come to you guys Sunday, Monday, whatever, with our typical wrap up. We're gonna go back on a posting schedule. We've been promising you that for a while, but we will now, and we'll give you a Sunday, Monday wrap up on how the rest of this week played out, the weekend series, obviously the Mets with the Cubs, how the Yankees fared to finish off with the Padres. And then midweek next week, a week from today, roughly, we will give you a full episode on series preview, Mets and Yankees rivalry weekend. So again, we can't wait for that, Ed. I think we got to talk offline about doing. I know we can't go to the game, but we could do maybe a live stream that Friday night or something like that. We could talk about this,
Oh, yeah.
but try to do a live stream for one of those games because I feel like that's a must. So with that, it'll wrap it up for episode 10 of the Big Apple Battle. We hope you all enjoyed the show. Let's get right this week, Mets fans, Yankee fans alike. Let's go Knicks,
Let's
and
go, Knicks. We can all come together on that for the next
shout out blue and
10
orange,
days.
baby.
Yeah, all right. Well, we'll limit it to that. Let's go, Knicks. Yeah, you guys are in for a rude awakening, and we'll just see what our record looks like as soon as we
Well,
match up on the 16th. So, hey, maybe
the
it'll be even.
season, yeah, maybe it'll be even. You never know. The season is in full force. Marathon, not a sprint. And
There it is.
we're excited to give you all the action every week here on the BAB. And with that, it's a wrap. Please like, subscribe, follow, rate, review, do it all wherever you get your podcast. Because as always, LGM,
Get wrecked and let's go, Action Brunson, baby. Knicks tape.
Nixon 6.
This ball is crushed. Man, what a shot.